the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Now, the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has constituted the Police Council, made up of Nipabese and Son. Now, a writ from the Supreme Court ahete the President with respect to one appointment made to the Council of the Police Force. Now, court kratai ebechire enipakro. Now, Supreme Court kratai chirima or say, my lords, on or around the 10th of June 2025, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana, swore in the members of the Police Council by a colorful ceremony at the Jubilee House in accordance with Article 201 of the 1992 Constitution. Instructively, the new council had the Vice President of Ghana, Her Excellency Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, as the chairperson, in line with the original provision of the Constitution, before the introduction of the amendment in Section 7 of the Constitution of Ghana Amendment Act 1996, Act 527. The other members of the council are 1. The Honorable Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, the Minister for Interior. 2. Dr. Dominic Akrutinga Ayini, Minister of Justice and Attorney General. 3. Christian Tete Yohonu, Inspector General of Police. 4. Daniel Owusu-Nyampong, Esquire, nominated by the Ghana Bar Association. 5. COP retired Nathan Kofi Boakye, Esquire. 6. DCOP Lydia Yako Donko. 7. Angel Lolo, Esquire. 8. Rose Bio Atenga. 9. Benson Atongo Baba. My lords, relevant to our plane, news report had it that the first defendant, COP Nathan Kofi Boakye, was on the council as a representative of the Retired Senior Police Officers Association, as enshrined in and required by Article 201, Clause F of the 1992 Constitution, and reproduced or recognized under Section 10 of the Police Act 1970, Act 350. Whilst the plaintiff extends her congratulatory felicitations to the men and women who have been legitimately appointed onto the Police Council, we respectfully state on behalf of the plaintiff that the appointment of the first defendant, COP retired Nathan Kofi Boakye, on the council as the nominee of the National Association of Retired Police Officers by the unilateral fiat of the President without any reference to the leadership of the association is with respect unconstitutional and a gross encroachment on the exclusive constitutional right of the association. Curiously, my lords, the undeniable fact was that prior to the inauguration, the National Association of Retired Police Officers had, by an official communication dated the 20th of January 2025, submitted the name of ACP retired Miss Florence Atta as its nominee onto the Police Council. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama appointed the onto the Police Council. In our Vice President, Her Excellency Jena Nano Kaho, Afe Interior Minister, the Honorable Muntaka Mubarak no Kaho, Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Akrutinga Ayini no Kaho, and Ghana Bar Association, and so do nominee by. And the Ghana Police Service, and so edit the IGP by. And your Retired Police Officers Association. According to Kratei, Ghana man His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and nominatee COP retired Nathan Kofi Boakye say, "What our police council no so no, ono na represent retired police officers association. And the nipa wa file case o Supreme Court chiremu a official communique kratan ka say official. Ya a free retired police officers association won chiremu a nipa omo si omo anan e police council no so no Miss Florence Atta ya kratan no date crash so 20th January 2025 and almost submitted Sakratai and the office of the president say, Mami and your person representing yen on the police council. Ya, a dear Shasono, Miss Florence Atta. The omonim the Pakura or nominated DCOP retired Nathan Kofi Boakye. So Oma represented Omo on the police council. 9. My lords, it must be noted that by the relevant constitutional and statutory provisions on the matter, the president has the power and authority to appoint 5 persons onto the council. The chairperson and 2 more of these appointments are done by the president acting in consultation with the Council of State. And even there, the law requires that one of the nominees should be a serving police officer of a junior rank. The president has an unfettered power to appoint 2 other persons of his choice onto the council. We seek the kindest indulgence to reproduce the constitutional provisions on the matter. Article 201 of the Constitution, as amended by Section 7 of the Constitution of Ghana Amendment Act 1996 at 527 provides, there shall be established a police council which shall constitute of A. Chairman, who shall be appointed by the president, acting in consultation with the Council of State. B. The minister responsible for internal affairs. C. The Inspector General of Police. D. The Attorney General or his representative. E. A lawyer nominated by the Ghana Bar Association. F. A representative of the Retired Senior Police Officers Association nominated by the Retired Senior Police Officers Association. G. 2 members of the police service appointed by the president acting in consultation with the Council of State and the Ghana Police Service, of whom shall be a junior rank. H. 2 other members appointed by the president. My lords, the provision of Article 201 are reproduced verbatim in Section 10 of the Police Service Act 1970, Act 350. We seek the indulgence of the Honorable Court to reproduce same for emphasis. Membership and functions of the Police Council. 1. The Police Council established by Article 201 of the Constitution consists of A. A chairman who shall be appointed by the president acting in consultation with the Council of State. And then also it's the same thing. Edibesi H to say they are making Kenya. My lords, at a delegates conference held on 29th of January 2025, ACP retired Miss Florence Atta was elected as the first woman president of the National Association of Retired Police Officers after a spirited contested election between her and DCOP retired Mr. Douglas Akrofi Asiedu. Subsequent to her election, the then outgoing president of the association, COP retired Mr. Joseph Boakye Appiah by a letter dated 20th January 2025, a copy of which is herewith attached as Exhibit A, notifying the Police Council Secretariat of the election of ACP retired Miss Florence Atta as the president of the association, and indicated, much in line with established convention and practice, that ACP Miss Florence Atta will be the representative of the association on the Police Council to replace COP Joseph Boakye Appiah retired. enti evidence ya nipa o siw COP retired Kofi Boakye no wom kaka ho edeka ho ne say Retired Police Officers Association omoto aba ebra na de wote so no retired COP Joseph Boakye na ne braso omoto aba ne wiye COP retired Miss Florence ene we ni aba and according to omo nhyehyeye da ho wo president for Retired Police Officers Association ona automatically you nominate you to represent the association on the police council. Enti krata ye data 20th January 2025. Na omo twe krata ne to say die ye papa ye COP retired Joseph Boakye onti akonya so bio. Ya to abayi ni pa foforo ye COP retired Miss Florence Atta. Ono na ebesi anan on the police council. Enti dan and ye konya a different person in the name of COP retired Nathan Kofi Boakye. So ono na represent Retired Police Officers Association. Meanwhile, about one hour Kobi. He doesn't hold any position in the association. Whereas Nipa or president of the association, ya nominate to aba, and ya nominating onto the council no, and a Ghana mapenny a power. What's my loss? In proof of our assertion that this move was in line with established practices and convention of the association, we attach here as Exhibit B a letter of similar import and wording dated 15 December 2020, written by COP Mr. Kwesi Nkansa retired, the then outgoing president of the association, and addressed to the secretary of the police council and notifying the secretariat of the election of COP Mr. Joseph Boakye as the president of the association and indicating that by reason of his election, COP Mr. Joseph Boakye will be the representative of the association on the police council to replace COP Kwesi Nkansa retired. Indeed, since the inception of the Fourth Republican Democratic Dispensation, the invariable and inflexible practice and established convention has always been that the person elected by the association as its president represents the association on the police council. The proof no letter on the account say, a free tentrede, and she said that one say, Obia association. Yeah, police, retired police officers association, but to obey say on your president, automatically, or not representing the retired association on the police council. The end to me is to say, the president is there. Your check introducing her to the president. Now, man, penino mombe factory, akofa obia association into Abamano, say on never representing the association. Meanwhile, the association doesn't recognize COP retired Kofi Boakye. The asemi and akopimu with the Supreme Court. They just say all the necessary and the required evidence have been given to the court. And the last relief was that, my loss, it was in light of this well-established practice that ACP retired Miss Florence Atta was elected as the first female president of the association and guided by the conventions and established president of the association. The outgoing president of the association, COP retired Mr. Joseph Boakye, forwarded a letter dated 20th January 2025 in the same format as the one written by his predecessor to the office of the president and the secretariat of the police council and the secretariat of the Ministry of Interior, stating that the newly elected president, ACP Miss Florence Atta, would represent the association on the police council. In this regard, we submit that there must be cogent reason why ACP retired Miss Florence Atta cannot be the association's representative on the police council. We submit respectfully that even in that regard, it is the members of the association who through their executives will have the exclusive right to determine who, apart from their president, should represent them on the council. Tia. To how much say? Mampanyini na pam for me chirema de kudentia. The pa association no ato abayi no so me president se so na represent wo no. Enye ono mom. Ene represent wo mo, ba nipa foforo na represent wo. Na even impo se president no na eni kwan so represent wo mo a eye association no ankasa ye involve retired police officers. Omo na betumi a kire say though ACP Miss Florence a president, but young man no representing on the police council. But assume as here now maintain your person representing on the police council. But a young man paying to me to say, or bet any power on representing Association of Retired Police Officers on the police council, while Omakasa atrase atuaba a duly elected representative for the council. The interesting times ahead on this issue with the Supreme Court. You need to change your power because it is a very, very interesting case. So if DCOP retired Nathan Kofi Boakye truly deserves to be on the police council as a representative of retired senior police officers association.
And the Attorney General, who have the privilege of making recommendations for those who are to be nominated. The recommendations can be refused or accepted by the President. I encourage anyone to read the judgment of the Supreme Court in the case of Ghana Bar Association and others versus Attorney General 2015-2016 to Supreme Court of Ghana Law Reports 872 when this matter was even discussed, and other academic works that discuss this practice that has been around for decades. How has it suddenly become unconstitutional or wrong conduct or incompetence for the Chief Justice to recommend to the President to consider for nomination judges who, in her view, satisfy the constitutional standard of high moral integrity? Yet, despite all the evidence provided, there is a hearing being conducted at Edu Lodge. I have taken this walk through Mr. Ofori's petition to show that the allegations have no bearing whatsoever on any sensitive national issues or public safety or order, or my inability to perform my functions as Chief Justice. They also do not have any basis in law or truth. They are just an attempt to gather a lot of complaints together, regardless of whether they are true or not, whether they are justified or not, just to have an excuse for the conduct of this inquiry that breaks all the rules of fair hearing. I'll be done soon, don't worry. There's also a petition from a gentleman called Mr. Ayamga Akogo. His complaint is that on 14th November 2024, after the Supreme Court had given a ruling which went against him, I, as presiding judge in the Supreme Court, ordered his arrest without any reason. He attached an exhibit to his petition, which was a media report from a group called the Law Platform. This media report says that after the Supreme Court panel had ruled against Mr. Akogo, he started to shout in the courtroom, and that is why he was taken out of the courtroom. Essentially, therefore, his own exhibits contradict his claims. Mr. Akogo goes on to claim that when he applied for a copy of the day's proceedings, which were signed by all the judges that presided on his case, he did not see a record that he had been arrested, so I should be removed as Chief Justice. What is significant about this petition is that Justice Puaman sat with me as one of the judges who heard Mr. Akogo's case and was named as a witness that Mr. Akogo will call. But His Excellency the President has appointed him to chair and inquire into this petition, and he has accepted to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, Article 1273 of the Constitution indemnifies for any act or omission by him while exercising judicial power. This provision was just last week cited as a reason for declaring a petition against a Supreme Court nominee frivolous. And yet, I'm supposed to be defending myself on the petition of Mr. Akogo for work done in the Supreme Court with 4 other judges. The last petition is from a group called Shining Stars. Searches have shown that no such group is registered in Ghana. Yet, it has petitioned against me, and they claim that during the hearing of the case of Afenyo Markin versus Attorney General and the Speaker of Parliament, when I sat as a judge, I failed to hear the side of the Speaker of Parliament before the Supreme Court made an order, so I should be removed as Chief Justice. Again, I can only point to the fact that no judge sits alone in the Supreme Court, and the court's decisions are the decisions of all the judges who sit together. So you will see that every decision I took that is complained about by Mr. Ofori, Mr. Akogo, and the group calling itself Shining Stars was done as a part of a panel of at least 5 judges that made up the Supreme Court. And all judges in the panel are indemnified by Article 1273. How tenable, if I can respectfully ask, can it be that a petition to remove the Chief Justice from office can be entertained on these grounds? Every administrative decision is supported by my constitutional obligations, and I have shown with exhibits, or I showed to His Excellency the President with exhibits, that each decision that was listed was taken after due process, and yet a warrant of suspension was issued against me without giving reasons. Interestingly, there have been some recent suggestions about rules being made to safeguard judges from frivolous attempts to remove them from office. It sounds like an attempt to assure the judiciary that after unconstitutional and illegal means have been used to remove me, conditions will be made safer for those who help with it, or those who may be afraid by the current occurrences. Despite the interesting new discussion to assure the judiciary that after unconstitutional and illegal means have been used to remove me, conditions will be made safer for those who help with it, or those who may be afraid